So, in keeping with the theme of birthdays and celebrations, we all think about celebrating milestone birthdays. So, my milestone birthday is number 13. You know, you think about, all right, I'm going to be a teenager. Finally, finally. So, I grew up in a house full of athletes. I was a gymnast from the time I was 8 years old. And so my week usually consisted of my mom shoving me in the car right after school, driving 45 minutes, getting me to practice. And I'd practice for 2.5, 3 hours, and somebody would bring me home if it wasn't her. So on my 13th birthday, I really wanted this great new gift. I really didn't have a lot of stuff because my mom, who was a wonderful human being, put all of her time and effort into getting us to all of our different events. I had two brothers, and they did every sport imaginable too. I wanted, for my 13th birthday, my very own stereo, so I could listen to music on my own in my room and have my own thing. And I knew if I told her enough times, that would be my gift. I would get it because I was turning 13. I was a teenager. I was allowed to have music. So I really didn't want to go to gymnastics practice that day because I wanted my gift. I wanted it so, so bad. So I was like, Mom, please, 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 please let me stay home. She's like, no, I paid for this. You're going to gymnastics. You're going. The other thing about my mom, she tried so hard, but she was always late. Always. So it wasn't like a ride to gymnastics and you would get into the gym and work out with the team. No, I was always the last one at practice. So there was a penalty at gymnastics practice when you were late. So I knew when I got in the car, I was going to be late. I'm like, and I knew it was my birthday and I wanted these gifts really, really bad. So she got me there. We got there and we were late. And I was angry that we were late. And I got out of the car and I said, we're late. She's like, yeah, I know, get in there, do your thing. I said, okay. And I slammed the door shut right on my finger, which got stuck in the car door and I couldn't get it out. So she had, and I was screaming at this point, and she had to come out and get my finger out of the door. She still made me go to practice. She's like, get in there. I'm like, I'm bleeding. She's like, I don't care. Get in there. So I go in and I wrap my finger up in something and it's throbbing and it's bleeding. And I know that I now have to pay the penalty for being late to gymnastics practice, which is climb the rope that is 50 feet high until your coach sees you. You have to stay up there. So much like the bell that I'm going to hear a little later, I was very, very familiar with that sound. So I climbed the rope with my finger bleeding, wrapped up. And I got so good at it that I knew that when I got to the top, all I had to do was wrap the rope around my leg, and I could stand up there until the coach saw me, which took at least 5 minutes because the gym is loud and it's noisy, and he doesn't notice because I'm always at the top of the rope. So I'm like, ding, 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 ding. And he's like, oh, yeah, you can come down. So I come back down, and I'm mad. And he's like, what's wrong with your finger? I'm like, I shut it in the car door because I'm mad because I really don't want to be here. And he said, well, then go home. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. So I go, and I'm like, Mom, he said I can't stay. He's like, what do you mean? She said, what do you mean you can't stay? I said, I can go home. So we can go home and I can get my gifts, right? She's like, yeah, okay. So this drive is 45 minutes from my house. So we get in the car and we drive home, and I'm like, well, where are they? Where are my gifts? She said, they're in the trunk of the car. I said, are they wrapped? She's like, no, I'm going to get them out. I was going to wrap them while you were at practice, but since you didn't stay for practice, I didn't have a chance to wrap them. I was like, all right, well, just get my stereo out of the car, would you please? And so I go in and I give her a chance to get my gifts, and I come back down and there's no gifts. And I said, where are they? She said, the lock on the trunk broke and I can't get your gifts out of the car. I was like, what? She's like, I can't. They're stuck in there. This was an old car. So I waited a week and a half before they could get the car lock fixed to get my gifts out of the trunk of the car. And there was no stereo in those gifts. So there wasn't the celebration that I was expecting, but I do have a fingernail now that does not grow solidly, and I still can look at my finger and always remember my 13th birthday.